Okay, I think we are live now. So, welcome back, friends. So, here we are, our first live YouTube streaming. So, we thought of doing a live stream because it's a big occasion for Bundesliga clubs, especially because they would be playing two major playoffs, one versus Atalanta and the other versus Olympiacos. And then later on the later of the stream, we will touch upon the Bundesliga Matchday 22, which was pretty interesting as well, how the matches turned out. So, first of all, welcome, Supro. Welcome
Yeah,
back.
hi Pratish.
And then we'll have Parmeshwar also joining us in few minutes. So he's from Calcio Churcha, and he would be giving us the thoughts from Atlanta point of view, how he thinks the match would turn out to be. And but starting with the one big breaking news which you just gave, that Nico Stotterbeck is out for Dortmund. That's a
Yeah,
big
very big blow. He's cornerstone for that BVB team. Like whatever good is happening, I
that
think it's kind of equivalent of Harry Kane not starting for Bayern.
it is actually a huge miss. I mean, I was surprised to I thought he just missed the game versus Mainz because he was kind of injured. I mean, he was suspended in that game. That's what I thought. But when you told that he has been now out, suspended, injured, that's a huge shock, to be honest. In for that defense, when you have Anton playing, who can be out of his mind at times, and this will be a huge miss for them.
I think Anton Bensebaini both are they like the temperament.
Yes.
Uh, so yep, very big miss for Dortmund for sure.
Yep. But I mean, lately they have been picking up form in the league, so I thought that might have translated them well for in the Champions League. But then they need to have that fit players back. That Filippo Mane is also out injured. I'm not sure what has happened with Sabitzer. He was actually pretty decent, to be honest, when he started. But then, since then, he has been on bench. He has been struggling for form.
Yep, and likewise, if we see the UCL table, I mean, Atlanta finished highest among the four clubs that we're talking, and they had 13 points, and Leverkusen 12, Dortmund 11, Olympiacos also 11. So, I mean, even on paper, it might look very evenly matched, but I think Atlanta and Europe, they kind of have the grit to pull off this results. And I mean, I'll put Atlanta and Dortmund on very equal footing, and probably I think they can. I mean, my money is on Atlanta out of the two clubs. If
I mean,
one,
I actually thought this would be an equal game. Like it would be, hey, welcome Parmeshwar. So
yeah,
we started talking about Atlanta and BVB game. So just a breaking news came that Nico Schlotterbeck is out. Just to bring you up to speed.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
I saw the news. Actually, Atalanta we'll discuss probably in depth, but Atalanta also have two major absentees after this recent weekend they had. They beat Lazio 2-0 away, and they do not have Raspadori and Charles de Ketelara. Both are injured, so
oh,
both will be missing. So
that's a creative
yeah,
miss for them.
Raspadori is out for like 2-3 weeks, and Charles de Ketelara I think 1 or 2 months. So yeah, that's a big miss for them
Oh.
going into the match.
But I honestly I really feel that Nico Schlotterbeck missing for BVB is a big miss because the way he progresses the ball from the back, the way he sets up his defense, the way his leadership skills, and the most important, his goals from the set pieces. That I mean, BVB really don't have a player who can fill all these gaps. Being very honest, they were at like after the 2026, they really have been Nico Schlotterbeck team. He was leading them everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
true. Absolutely, yeah.
Uh, I mean, in the last game as well versus Mainz, which they won 4-0. I think out of four goals, three came from set pieces, if I'm not two for
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
I mean, 3 came from the set pieces only, and all were crosses from Ryerson.
Ryerson,
So
right.
he got 4 assists. When you have someone like, uh, Nico Schlotterbeck, who can be very vicious with heading, that's a big miss on the attacking side as well.
Mm-hmm. So with Atalanta, I mean, from the other side of things, they have actually picked up good form. Like again, if you look at their season was not expected to be as good as like a prime Atalanta because Gasperini left after 9 years. He left
Right.
built and he went to Roma, obviously, where he's putting a top four charge. And obviously, they hired Ivan Juric, Joe Italy में एक obviously he had a good reputation up to a point. After that, it completely went downhill when he coached Southampton, Roma, now current, and then came back to Atalanta where he again ended up doing a average job, not a bad job really, and it felt like they'll honestly finish below eighth or something. But right now, what
They're
they
on
did is
5th.
they hired Raffaele Palladino, who is rather one of the most spoken about coaches, or actually young coaches in Italy, like a very good coach who Juventus wanted. Actually, he was one of their targets instead of Spalletti as well. The good young coach coached Fiorentina, left Fiorentina on bad terms. So Atalanta did that job very well because he's a coach that kind of plays with their philosophy, plays a three at the back, kind of plays with this controlled press, and they needed that kind of a man manager who basically is like a friend to all the players. Because again, if you go back to this season right now, if you look at Atalanta, it looked like okay, decent in the Champions League, sixth in the Serie A. But when the season began, it was actually even worse. Like a lot of injuries, players underperforming, the whole Lookman saga. Lookman finally left for Atletico Madrid. So point is,
They were very broken after that Gasperini
yeah,
saga which happened.
it was
They,
not your typical Atalanta
Yup, yup.
basically,
They
right?
had a lot of dressing room issues coming in. But having said that, on the Dortmund side, there has been one surprise from Niko Kovac this season, which I think Supro might add more to that. That they have been creating a lot in
Yeah,
Champions League. They have been.
yeah,
I mean, Niko Kovac, when
Hmm.
he was with us, or when he was with even Frankfurt before that, he
yeah,
used to be, was not known for playing the possession football, which
yeah,
he
yeah.
has developed something really well in his tactics. And secondly, the amount of chances he has been created in Champions League. I mean, having said that, in
Hmm.
Bundesliga they have not created that number of chances, but in Champions
Yeah,
League,
Bundesliga, they play with this defense first mentality, I think, which we had discussed a few
yeah,
weeks ago as well.
yeah. But in Champions League, what do you think, Supro, on that? I mean, what do you add to that on that?
I mean, like, this is so not like the Niko Kovac which I used to see on the sidelines. And I mean, I think generally, historically, German clubs tend to play very, very attacking in Champions League. Like, you'll find teams parking the bus against Bayern in the league, but then again, when it's for example, if I have to put, for example, say a Bayer Leverkusen or even Borussia Dortmund, when they're facing PSG at the same point of time in Europe, they don't care. Like, they historically they go out attacking, and I don't know, like probably. Uh, uh, which is why we have seen like very often German clubs getting like 4 goal, five goal margins in the continent, but conceding even in single legs. And uh, I mean, it's a surprise. And I mean, considering like they're playing Atlanta, so I don't think so. They'll I mean, they won't be starting on an intimidated note. That's what I feel. They'll feel it. It's 50-50 right from the start. So even if Schlotterbeck is a big miss, but I think they'll try and capitalize. I mean, Guirassy has also found a little bit of form back
Yeah,
in
yes, I
recent
was
weeks.
about
So
to
he's
say
also
yes.
scoring now.
Yep, yep, yep.
And
I
so
mean,
that is a huge plus
all
for them.
all the three attackers, Bayer, Guirassy, and Silva, in 2026, they have been playing. Actually, they have got better. The
Yes.
Fabio Silva's link-up play has been really good for
Yeah,
them, to be honest. That has been one spot where he has worked. His layoffs in the final third, that has been really good, which is something which I liked when I was watching Dortmund. Even like the the winner they got versus Wolfsburg, it was from Fabio Silva's 1-2 quick 1-2 in the half, which got them the winner. So,
Right.
what do you think on that, Parmeshwar? How do you think that will fare against Atlanta's defense?
See, right now, again, as I was saying, Atalanta have found this balance under, again, Palladino. What you usually associate with Atalanta is a Gasperini high press and everything, but that is not exactly how they play. While they've retained their principles and they've found themselves again because they had lost their identity for the first 5-6 months. What they do is, again, they play this controlled press, which is leaning more towards the aggressive side. So you will see a high line, but you will not see like the typical Atalanta. You will see a bit more mature team, more of a mature team. Players again who kind of handle the press well. So again, you have a player like Ederson who will do everything. Like Ederson has been fantastic once again, and he's mostly going to leave Atalanta this summer, probably for Atletico Madrid. But again, even in that box-to-box role, even in this role of controlling the play, he has been absolutely fantastic. And I think while it looks like Atalanta do concede here and there, they again, this is not your prime Atalanta, but they always have, right now, at least in the last few months, they've found a way to kind of respond quickly to kind of conceding goals again. But again, Giacomo Raspadori was key for that. He just signed from Atletico Madrid in Jan, so he's going to miss. De Ketelaere just found his form back. And look, Lookman again, I don't think Lookman will be a big miss because he was anyways out of the project. Like he was, he only started playing in the last 1 month or so. Only like basically when Palladino came in and gave him like a breath of fresh air is only when he really cared about playing for Atalanta. Every time I would watch an Atalanta game before that, he was very disinterested, obviously because of the saga. So I think, see, defensively, what you should expect is not like what my point is, not a very high line, but like almost maybe like a mid block almost. But also keep an eye on their wing backs. Again, he might be very old, but Davide Zappacosta is running back the years. I don't know how long he's just going on and on. Like even in the Champions League and even in the Serie A, he just puts in top class performances. Even if he keeps aging, like he'll run into he'll make a lot of overlapping runs, and he's not afraid. Like physically, he's still very good. So I expect like a very good battle if Davide Zappacosta were to start on that right side. Again, remains to be seen if he'll play on the right or left because he can play anywhere. They have this amazing left centre back called Honest Ahanor, fabulous talent. Like he's one of the best upcoming talents in world football. Actually, I think we are on the 16th of February. So in 7 days he'll be eligible to play for Italy, and Gattuso is already considering calling him up at the age of 17. He's that good. Like he plays as a left centre back, as a left wing back, and he's very towering. He's really good. They obviously have a former Bundesliga player in Kusunu as well, Odilon Kusunu. He did not settle well under Gasperini, but again now he started to find his feet properly. So they have that typical Atalanta principle in them, like play the ball out of the back, play this high intense game. But what they do is they're a bit more mature now. Ki haan, mujhe pata hai, mere ko, this is when I have to manage certain moments. This is when I have to manage certain moments. I'm not trying to say they've gotten.
So basically, it won't be a mad press like how we used to see. So
yeah, what else is you'll see shades of it. You'll see shades of it because
Gasperini was like a full press.
But even Gasperini in his last year, he had to tone it down because वो identity उसकी found out हो गई थी basically. He had to tone it down a bit because 9 years you do the same thing essentially. Obviously, he built Atalanta into what it is today. Like he made a dynasty. He won the Europa League with them.
Because I was about to mention that Europa League. In that Europa League, Leverkusen could not handle their press. So that is where Leverkusen were destroyed by them at that point of time.
Xabi Alonso was probably one of the worst matches that he had undertaken during his Leverkusen career. Like he was totally clueless what to do.
I remember the final. Actually, we were doing a watch along on Calcio Charcha, and I remember halftime they were 2-0 up, right? And Gasperini did the shush gesture to Xabi Alonso at halftime, and we were like, because Gasperini loves getting overconfident, he's a character, and you're like, you might bottle this, just calm yourself down. But eventually, obviously, Lookman, like as you said, like that high press, the level of high press you saw in that game, I would say you can expect that in basically phases. You're not going to see it throughout the 90 with this Atalanta, but again, don't be surprised if they change their approach because they have the players capable of doing that. As I said, you have an Ederson, you have a Kusuno in form, you have a Zappacosta, you have Skamaka who's doing well. See, Skamaka is always injured most of the time, so when he plays, he's a beast. Like he's a beast. You have Scalvini. Now you guys must have heard of Giorgio Scalvini, fantastic talent. He also
that's a
he's
big
had
talent.
like 2 ACL injuries, okay, but he's found his form back. And this is the key with Palladino as a coach. What do you have to look out for him in as your rival coach in that sense? This guy is a very good man manager. As I said earlier, he makes the players feel like he's a friend to all of them, and that's why. So even like an average performing player, and if you need him to just come on and do like a decent job for like 15-20 minutes, they'll work their ass for Palladino. So it's a very, I would say it's a rejuvenated Atalanta side. Is it as good as a prime Gasperini team? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying they're just because they manage the moments differently that doesn't make them better than prime Atalanta, but it's a rejuvenated Atalanta which is now pushing for a European spot in the Serie A. Like they were 10th or 12th like a few months
I
ago.
remember that. I mean, even around 2026, that
Yeah.
December and January timeline only, they changed their form, and that is where they have pushed to 5th or 6th position, I believe.
Exactly.
But, so I mean, in 2025 November and December, just before the winter break, they drew so many games, so many useless games which they should have been winning. And you guys might remember the Juve versus Dortmund game.
Yeah.
I mean, that game was a prime example when they would have absolutely destroyed Juventus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were beating the hell out of them, and Juve was not able to handle their press, to be honest. Let's be very honest. They were struggling at that point in time.
And just once you finish, I'll add, because Atalanta also played Juve recently, and
this is where Niko Kovac's side. I mean, they have started to knock off those games. I mean, there have been a couple of dirty wins in the league. Like dirty, I mean, they had to put like Wolfsburg game as for one example. They were not in the game, but they eventually won the game. So these are the games which they have recently started to win. So on average, Chan penalty, 90-minute penalty. So they won that game as well, 3-2. So was it St. Pauli? So those were the games which they were drawing, but now they are winning those games. So and secondly, I think the first leg is gonna be the breaker for both the teams. It is for Dortmund at home, Signal Iduna Park, and if they are not able to break Atalanta there, when they are going away, then they won't be able to do much, to be honest, unless Niko Kovac turns up some different Dortmund side. So this is a game where they have to turn up, and I was wondering how will they line up as well. So will Beier start or not? Guirassy will start on, because they have been rotating them as well, to be honest. And Guirassy, I think in the last match or so, not before that Wolfsburg game, he came from bench as well. He was not starting. He was not starting. So because of the form, but then he scored the late winner versus Wolfsburg. He came to the game. Started versus Mainz, and he gave a very good performance, to be honest. So so that is where I mean. But then again, having said that, their midfield is very fragile.
That is.
If Atalanta starts counter pressing, I don't think they will be able to manage their press. That is where my worry as a German football fan lies in Dortmund.
Look, that Atalanta midfield. Sorry, you go ahead, Super. You were saying something. I'll add later.
Super, over to you. What you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, that is, the point of worry. That is, I agree. I also have the same thing. Right now also, the number of Champions League spots have also increased. So, German clubs, the more numbers they do, better. The chances of the number of additional participants will also increase for the next season, and we have good chance. For doing that. So.
So what I was saying is, with Atalanta, I think midfield battle, I will be very surprised if Atalanta actually don't win, because as I said, the pair of Ederson and Martin de Roon. Again, Martin de Roon is obviously has been around the game for a while. I mean, he's obviously had a average spell in England, but he's like a pillar of Atalanta. Like he's been a Gasperini player for God knows now, like God knows नहीं बहुत सालों के लिए. He's been the leader of this Atalanta side, and even as he ages, it doesn't show. He's always running. He's always there to win the ball. He's a character. So him and Ederson complement each other very well. Then तुम वो change करो तो bench पे you have a good player, an impact player like Mario Pasalic waiting. Can play in the number 10 role, can play in the number 8 role. Anything he can do. Again, you even have Lazar Samardzic, very talented player, has his attitude issues. Could have signed for an Inter or Juventus or AC Milan due to attitude issues. This should never happen. But very good with set pieces.
I think Lazar Samardzic, he went to Udinese, right?
He was at Udinese.
Yeah.
Leipzig said Udinese.
But I think he was linked to Juve at one point of time. I think he actually had a transfer to Juve. No, he did not.
No, he was
linked to Juve.
He was very close to Inter, then the move collapsed because of his father's drama, and because he was literally at the Inter headquarters to sign his contract as well. And that move collapsed because of his father's drama. And then months after that, there was a move, not very close, but about to happen to Juve and even Milan, which again, because of his father's drama, eventually everything collapsed. So he's a very polarizing player. But yeah, he's at Atalanta. He's very good with set pieces. Keep an eye out on that. But one more player I would say keep an eye out on is Zalewski right now. So Zalewski was with us the last year. Nikola Zalewski, Polish player, we had signed from Roma. He's a left wing back. But again, even he's had a bit of a mini revival. He can play as a left wing back. He can play as a number 10. Right now, what Atalanta are doing is Pratyush using him as a number 10. So he's a very small, diminutive figure. Very tricky player. Likes to link up. Very good, very decent technical ability. And he can take some good long range shots. So my point is that Atalanta के पास वो pieces है Dortmund को hurt करने को, like those small pieces here and there that fit. What Dortmund rather have to be wary of, the most screaming is Ederson. My first name that I'll always pick in this team is Ederson. He's just a beast. And right now, like even we wanted him to replace Hakan this past summer, but obviously too expensive. Skamaka, if in this first 10-15 minutes now you see Skamaka's body language is good, then you know he's going to have a good game. If he's having a shit, if you see his body language is shit, then he's going to have a shit game. That's the kind of player he is. In Italy, they call him Ibrahimovic with a neck tattoo because he has like a very weird neck tattoo and he behaves like Ibrahimovic at the end. But he's a fantastic player. He'll score any goal. If he's in the mood, he can do anything he wants. So Dortmund have a lot to worry about, but on the same side, what I will say, Atalanta need to be worried about, as you said, which was Ryerson का भी जो form चल रहा है, which I did catch this game. Like again, as you say, I agree, Schlotterbeck will be a big miss on set pieces, but I still feel like the way, as you said, in the Champions League, how Kovac has got this attack taking more than in the league, Dortmund have to be wary of that because this Dortmund is susceptible to constant waves of attacks, and I know this game is going to be end to end. Like regardless of what Atalanta try, जितना भी control करने का try करेगा ना, ये transition होगा ही इस match में.
I guess because Atul mentioned very important point that Sabitzer is fit again. So I was wondering what would be the midfield pairing for them. Jobe Bellingham, I mean, we really don't rate him. But
I don't. Sorry.
He was doing a decent job lately. But I mean, with Sabitzer, if Sabitzer is fit, I think I would be really interested to see if he's fit enough to start such a huge game. And then I might go for a Sabitzer and Nemecha pairing. Because Nemecha, he's not elite to be honest, but his work rate and his work ethics are brilliant. He will chase a ball like a bulldog. And then secondly, the best part about Nemecha is he has those passes when he carries the ball that can hurt any defense, to be honest. And that is where I believe the problem lies for Atlanta. And if Atlanta are not able to catch Nemecha's movement, then he is gonna give the good layups to someone like Guirassy or a Beier, and that might really hurt them.
Correct.
And I mean, Supro, I really want to hear from you. What do you think? Should Julian Brandt be starting this big game or not?
No, I find him slow, painstakingly slow, and he's also one of those folks, extended folks from 95-96.
Oh, really? That's a something which I think you might be hearing me sing it, Param. So the 95-96 batch is more in Germany is more like luxurious pack who want everything, but they won't do anything for the team. and Julian Brandt has been that case who has been very inconsistent types, and he has really not been like he has got some important goals for them. I think even versus Mainz, not Mainz, before that I think he scored one goal. So he has been there in nick of goals, but again, he has been the kind of baggage which Dortmund has been carrying. But the sad point for Dortmund here is they really don't have a replacement for him. Like if they bench him, whom would they start? That's a big question mark for Dortmund, in my opinion.
So but like that's what I see. I think if I agree, like I don't know if Brandt should play this game for Dortmund. Like again, it's been a while he's been this kind of a player here. Like I think as Atul said, toxic relationship. Love to hate, like love-hate relationship of type. Exactly. Like
Atul, we agree with you. We have certain players in our Bayern club. So we relate you what you are saying that.
I think usually what happens at some point, every club has this kind of a player that you like him, but then that player just. I think most of the times that player doesn't perform, or he'll put like a 6 out of 10, and then randomly he'll perform so well that you're like, oh, he's back. We need to keep him. Brandt is almost like that.
But I mean, what do you guys suggest? I mean, Adiyemi is also coming back. Would you start him ahead of Brandt? I know.
Actually, they don't. The biggest problem is they don't have any other player who is a natural number 10.
That's a big issue. That's a big issue for them. They don't have a natural number
10. And Adeyemi is also not that like again he'll give you that transitional ability, but he's not very potent. Like uska end product we all know.
Like he's good for stretching defenses in open areas, but Adeyemi beyond that is very limited. Like he's got good work rate and everything, but I mean he's a very limited player again.
I agree. Like he's never reached the level he was expected to. Like I discussed this with Pratyush as well. It's just even he hasn't. And I think from the Atalanta predicted 11, if I were to tell you guys, see, they play like a 3-4-2-1 more than a 3-5-2. In goal, you expect Marco Carnesecchi to start, who is Italy's one of best young and upcoming goalkeepers, has been for a while actually. I would be shocked if he doesn't play and if Sportiello plays over him, because again he's Atalanta's best keeper and he's one of the best keepers in the league. Like he's fantastic. Defense में अभी थोड़ा इधर बात करने लायक रहेगा. Again, I think Scalvini and Honest Ahanor, the two players I spoke of earlier, will start. Then फिर देखना पड़ेगा who starts. Like, do you start Jim City? Do you start the Swedish centre back Isaac Hein, who himself is a very decent player? Lot of hype in the Serie A about him. Then or you start Kusunu and put Scalvini as centre back. Then they have the Kolasinac option as well. So lot to talk about there. I think wingback, personally, they have to start. I know he's old, but they have to start Zappacosta. He's a machine. Like I don't care what his age is, but he's a machine. Like it feels like almost he's running back those left back Gareth Bale years. Like he's like reminding me of that, the way he plays. Weird comparison, but like the way he just runs at you directly. Dortmund will, if Atalanta settle well into the game, you'll see what I mean. It all depends on how they settle into the game. And again, the other wing back, they have this young talent called Bernasconi. I think he will start mostly. And in midfield, as I said, mere liye to Ederson and Derun ka pair they're pillars for Atalanta. You cannot bench them.
I was reading while you were saying, so I can see they are saying that Ederson and Derun would be starting.
Yeah, they have to. वो जो work है, तुम इसमें से देखो, पासालिच ना बहुत अच्छा प्लेयर है, ठीक है. पासालिच क्रोएशिया के लिए भी डिलीवर करता है वो, बट उसका ना रोल एटालांटा में ना मेनली रहा है इम्पैक्ट सबका. लाइक नॉट लाइक अ useless, like not like an average impact sub, like a very high quality, very useful impact sub, like जो हमेशा यूज ही होता है हर गेम.
I think वो अभी आप जो कह रहे हो वो sums up Pasalic का career. Like he has been the impact sub everywhere. Like
sorry, was saying You were saying something? Sorry.
Then he was saying that sums up the careers of Pasalic.
Yeah, I agree.
He
I
has
agree
been the
with that.
best of everywhere, even for Croatia.
Yeah, mostly वही रहा है उसका. And honestly, at Atalanta, like again, he's found his place. He's just too important. And again, bench से वो खेलेगा ही. मतलब एक substitution तो उसको आना ही है bench से. That is one substitution guaranteed. And up top, as I said, right now Samardzic is one of the 10s, and the other 10 Nikola Zalewski जो wing back है, but he can play as a support striker as a number 10 as well. वो खेलेगा. जैसे मैंने बोला था, he will try to take a lot of long range shots. He will also be on set pieces. He's a very small, tricky figure. Decent technical ability on him. Can play as a wing back. Can play as a number 10. So उसके लिए भी देखो. And striker तो no doubt. Now that Raspadori is not available, now that De Ketelaere is not available, Scamacca anyways would have started. He will start. अगर ये दोनों available होते तो number 10 में you would have seen De Ketelaere and probably your Samardzic का pairing.
Actually, I was just reading the pretty lineup. They are saying Krstovic might start ahead of.
Yeah. Krstovic is there, but yeah, Nikola Krstovic again. He's a very different striker to Scamacca. So Krstovic का कैसा है ना? He's again a very थोड़ा small figure, and he's a very technical player. Like वो Lecce के लिए खेलता था all these years in Italy, and he's been a good player. But उसका एक weird चीज है ना. He will score also, but he will also miss a lot of chances. He misses a lot of chances. He misses way too many chances, and
that's very equivalent to Guirassy, to be honest.
Yeah, but this is not Guirassy. Like he's a decent player, okay, but this is not Guirassy level. Also, I'll say this: Krstovic start karna is a risk because in him ना he makes these very weird errors. So he's a very enthusiastic player जिसको ना हर duel में involve होना ही पड़ता है. तो he'll randomly drop deep. He'll try to win the ball ला और उस effort में ना he loses a lot of balls, and then his bad luck that most of the times oppositions end up scoring from that. So he's a player that likes to overdo things. Like he always likes to overdo. So that is why again I feel he should not be starting this match. Like it is too big a game to start. क्योंकि अगर आप Signal Iduna Park में हार गए तो it's a bit of a challenge to then recover even at home at the New Balance.
I think that's a big mental block. So on the other side, I was just reading the Dortmund spirited lineup. So they are predicting like Brandt will be starting, which I feel sorry for Dortmund to be honest at that point of time. And then Beier is there, and Guirassy. I think given how his form has been going, he should be starting, to be honest. So there is no doubt about it. But maybe I might have started, Adeyemi instead of Brandt, play that transitional football, and then bring Brandt up around 60th minute, and then throw him in the game and see here. Let's see what you can do with the ball now. So that they could have tried. And in the midfield, they are saying Jobe and Namecha are going to start. Namecha was always going to start, to be honest.
Yeah, Jobe though is a risk. Like I don't understand. Like I don't rate the guy at all. Like I'm sorry. Like
but the problem for them again is Sabitzer is coming back from the injury. That's a big problem for Dortmund. So that is, and then Nico Schlotterbeck got injured. Now they are predicting that Emre Can is going to start in defense. Again, we all three have the reservations with that player, but then he has been playing for them for quite some time, and it's so that's how they are starting. Can, Anton, Benziabini, and Ryerson and Svensson as wingbacks. Bellingham and.
Wait, but isn't Atul right? Isn't Emre Can injured right now?
Yeah, I think Emre Can is also out.
Injured, but then they are saying he might be back for the game.
Okay,
even I read that he's injured before, because that's why he was not in the squad versus Mainz game as well.
Fair.
But then they are predicting that he is gonna come back. I have to check if he was back in the final training or not. That's the question which
are they expecting this kid Reggiani to start or at least have some minutes? Because obviously Dortmund gave their Italian youth a lot of debuts, right, recently. Filippo Mane and everyone. There was a lot of buzz in Italy about this, obviously, because
Reggiani, he played 45 minutes versus Mainz, to be honest.
Yeah. And honestly, Italy में वो excitement है because वो Italy में पूरा debate है ना कि Italian talent, should they go abroad, should they stay back, because obviously they don't get enough chances. But yeah, like is he expected to start Reggiani?
I know they are not expecting him to start, but I
don't think he'll start.
Yeah, he had a very decent game on the right hand side of our defense, and he was pretty decent. So he had 2 out of his 3 tackles, and then Atul is also Atul we're talking about Reggiani only. That's the defender we're talking about. And then he made 1 clearance as well. So he had a decent game versus Mainz, but again I don't think if Emre Can is fit, I don't see him starting over him.
Fair.
Yep.
No, I'm just glad to see, like, again, as in Calcio we always keep saying here, like, I know a lot of Italian talent has started, and they're going, a lot of them are going to Germany now. Like, even Leverkusen have a few Italian talent. If I'm not wrong, Bayern's academy also has, right? Like, one or two, if I'm not wrong. But
couple of
Dortmund also,
yep.
Delaware.
yeah. So, like, there is a buzz because they are making these decisions to finally leave Italy. And obviously, Reggianica, even I saw, like, he was quite decent. And part of me obviously just wants to see him play tomorrow in a Champions League game, just to see, just to see some Italian talent on showcase. But good to see her, because from our perspective, like, even a young talent making it to Bayern or Dortmund or even any other academy in Germany is like, because we know that internally there is better chances for them to play there at a, to develop their game there, unfortunately, rather than Italy, where they're not trusted enough. So yeah.
So that was about BVB Atlanta. Now let's go to the other.
No, you don't want to take predictions for the match.
Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's go for that. I'm not very good with it, so that's why I thought of skipping it. But yeah, so let's go with Supro. And Atul, you give your prediction in the comments as well. We'll be waiting. I think you look like a Dortmund fan. Would love to hear your thoughts. Like, what are you predicting in this game? Supro, what do you think about this game?
2-1 to Atlanta.
2-1 Atlanta. Okay.
Are we only doing this leg, or the whole tie are we predicting? How are we doing?
No.
Yeah, we can do whole tie as well. That's fine. I mean,
whole tie, I think Atlanta will go through.
I was saying this on one of our live streams that I don't have good hopes of Italian clubs this season overall, only because नहीं रहा है अच्छा थोड़ा season. But I feel I agree with Supro here कि मुझे लग रहा है ये बहुत chaotic होगा. कैसे ना कैसे Atalanta over the two legs will scrape through. I think first leg will be a draw, and the second leg is where Atalanta will take it. I feel like 2-1, 2-1, something like that. And I feel like across the two legs, the star man, I'm still sticking to Ederson because he's a beast.
Yeah, he's a very good.
He's a beast. Like any club you look at, just for 1 minute, if I have to say, like any club, I feel he can fit at. You put him in any club in the world right now. A guy who can do a number 6 and a number. He's not a 6 exactly, but he knows how to manage that role. So if you give him a number 8 role, number 6 wo kar leta. He's that much of a machine, and the technical ability with that work ethic is very hard to get in modern football. So again, I think he'll be the star of the show or the two legs. And
yeah, I think so. We have two predictions with Atlanta, so I'll change the course. I'll go with that.
Yeah,
so,
that's insane.
I mean, if Guirassy kicks in a big game, then I know Nico Schlotterbeck is a big miss. But at home, if they can get a 2-0 lead, it's never safe with Dortmund. We know that. But this Niko Kovac side has been knocking off those.
Yeah.
So that is one character which we don't generally see with Dortmund. But yeah. I mean, I have been critical of them drawing a lot of games in league, but them on the other side, they have lost very few games on the contrary due to that as well. So this characteristics of theirs might come handy in Champions League playoff games.
Yeah.
So
actually, just 1 minute, if I look, as you said, in the UCL, they've been far more prolific and created more. Obviously, they played us. They played Inter on the last match day, and we beat them 2-0. I remember they had one clear-cut chance on the break where Guirassy messed up, but after that, we managed the game very well. And I was not shocked that we beat them. My prediction always, even when the draws were made, that I was not very confident, but I was confident that we'll beat them. I'm not that much of a big Dortmund. I don't like Dortmund that much, but but point is, again, obviously there's a big quality gap between an Inter and an Atalanta, but still, point being, what I realized is, as long as you manage the mid, like it happened with us also, you manage the midfield turnovers well, you can get at them. What you said rightly is that their attack is very potent right now, and that is my worry for Atalanta. वो कभी-कभी जैसे मैंने बोला ना, वो लोग हो जाता है उनका डिफेंस में थोड़े एक दो लैप्सेस हो जाते हैं which are avoidable, and that's where I think maybe Pratyush's prediction, again, it's a very close one. Like I would say this is like almost a 50-50 to call, or even maybe 49 types. It's very close to call this one.
So that's our first game. Now moving to the Wednesday night games, it is Olympiacos versus Bayer Leverkusen. So honestly, I have not watched a lot of. Okay, so that's the banter with you going on, Param, I think.
Obviously, it's a Milan fan from our channel. Great. Obviously, nice dive. Obviously, for years we've been suffering at the hands of a certain club, so might as well enjoy it.
So now, so now coming back to Bayer Leverkusen versus Olympiacos. So I have not watched a lot of Olympiacos, but I was looking at their results. So they have not been really very, dominating in the. I mean, even in the leagues, they are second to AKE Athens, I believe. If I'm not wrong, they are trailing
Yes.
league by 2 points. But again, this Leverkusen has been very hit and miss. You don't know which Leverkusen would be turning up on that day. So,
It's hit and miss, but also at the same point of time, they started their season in very bad fashion. So,
yep.
I think if Casper Hjulmand would have been in charge from the beginning of this season, I think Leverkusen would have finished higher up than the 12 points that they scored. Probably, I think they could have scraped up at least one more victory, and maybe
So
that
what do
would
you
have probably put them in top 10 also.
we know that Greece teams are very well known for the atmospheres which they create in the stadiums.
Yeah, right.
Actually, Olympiacos had a fantastic match. Obviously, again, Real Madrid is not doing that great, and
Yep.
defensive transitions are horrible, you can say. But Olympiacos were fantastic against Real Madrid. Like, honestly, they could have won that match, and they should have. But
Yep.
you
That
saw
was
the goals they scored. Like, obviously, one of our former players, Mehdi Taremi, is there scoring goals in the Champions League. What else is that watching Leverkusen, this is like, even under Hjulmand, I'm seeing what I expected. Like, a bit flat. Like, they're obviously better than what they were initially, but it's just
they have really chalked up some wins from where this it's a very similar season to how it was versus for the Atlanta you are saying, right? It was a very similar fashion season for them as well. They had
Yes.
team getting sold out, and then Eric Ten Hag came. I don't know why do you bring the coach when you are not even confident. He just played 2 games and you are sacking him after 2 games. That was again a very mismanagement type of from Simon Rolfs. You don't expect Rolfs to be, that kind of sporting director. He is known for well management of the squad.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they were thinking at the start of the season, but then they brought him Hjulmand, like you guys mentioned, Casper. But having said that, but still they only have 2 star players in them. I mean 3 star players, I would say. Sheikh, he can knock off the goals. Alex Garcia has been very decent, but their main star player has been Grimaldo.
Yeah.
Yes.
But even Grimaldo, like, he's not at the same level. Like, if you watch him, like, obviously he's still good. Like, he's very good. But if there's definitely a drop off in his level also, like, obviously, like, he's not the.
I mean, we know that, right, Supro and Param, that he was a very injury prone game, and he has played these 3 seasons without rest. To be honest, I mean, it's very happy to see player like Grimaldo fit and firing, because he's a treat to watch. To be honest, even being a rival fan. But I mean, I think he has ran out of a gas, because in this Leverkusen side, his role is to jump up and down like anything.
Yeah.
He has to be.
Yeah, he used to be like a constant engine, running up and down, cutting into the box, like throwing crosses, and he has absolutely been a huge workhorse for them.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I'll say about this Olympiacos obviously those couple of years ago became the first ever Greek club to win a European trophy ever. Greek clubs, believe it or not, had never won something. Obviously, we have a lot of iconic Greek clubs. Olympiacos beat Fiorentina, unfortunately, again, Italian clubs. Another Italian club losing a final. But again, you see who their coach is, Jose Luis Mendilibar, one of the most underrated, underappreciated coaches in Europe. One of the most smart coaches I've seen. He's done a great job in the La Liga before. We have Ajay Bhai also in the chat, by the way, from Galway. He's like, thank you, Fiorentina. Obviously, Fiorentina have a great history of choking in finals. But Mendilibar, fantastic coach. Like, again, you see how he just reads the game. Whether it's a high press, whether it's a deep block, he just knows how to read it at the right moment. And I feel look at some of their players. If you just see, they have El Kabi in strike. He's a very dangerous striker, Ayub El Kabi. He was at the AFCON as well for Morocco. They they have like Gelson Martins as well. Look, it's a very decent team, and again, it's one of those teams now that just knows how to give you a very hard time off the ball. They'll make your life hell, like turnovers karna. Again, even in the Champions League, if you go watch that Real Madrid game, they made Real Madrid like nervous in those defensive transition. ऐसा लग रहा था कि भाई वो पहले 20-25 मिनट में how was Olympiacos just not 2-0 up? Like obviously,
I think I'm not saying that they did not play the game well, but the issues which that Real Madrid side is having.
Exactly. They have too many issues. Like you can just slice past their defense like
they
easily.
are the most unbalanced squad right now.
Yeah.
When you look at the top clubs among the Europe, to be honest. Madrid,
I agree. But what I feel like again, मेरा बोलने का मतलब Leverkusen का ये था ना, they have improved. I agree with you. I can see the numbers and performances as well. But with Hjulmand ना, it's just that there is a certain level you expect and उधर ही तुम्हारी टीम बैठी रहती है. उसके आगे like there is not that extra push which I expect. Like वो Denmark का जो उसका था, that also faded away very easily, and ever since that, then after that Denmark went downhill for a bit. With I'm telling you, like this level they've found, right? Leverkusen, it's not going to get any better than that unless they make some better signings, which will only happen next season, right? Like to shore up the squad. As you said, the squad got depleted. So honestly, the first leg is away, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah. The first leg is away.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Olympiacos win this.
I mean, the one characteristics which this team is actually missing is that they still choke under pressure, and the atmosphere in the Olympiacos
is crazy. It's insane.
It is.
I mean, big pressure on them, and someone like Alex Garcia in that game, he has to run like anything. He has to stop those Olympiacos transitions, because I see Leverkusen dominating the ball and Olympiacos hitting them on the counters. That is what I feel the gameplay would be in general, and then those transitions, how they hurt Madrid, that might happen again with this Leverkusen team as well, and which might even turn up to a 3-0 or a 4-0 victory for Olympiacos. I mean that might really happen as well.
Only thing I think एक बड़ा advantage इधर Olympiacos को Leverkusen को दे सकते हो, like Olympiacos simply have been a bit out of form. अगर आप you just go check their results, it not been good, and that again, like usually with most again like a Mendilibar team, क्या होता है ना, आपको उस level पे perform करने के लिए you need a bit of form to be on your side. If I just go, if you see their few results, if I'm not wrong, they lost a big game to Panathinaikos, obviously one of their biggest rivals as well. The last big win was against Ajax. Ajax has been very poor this season.
They have been very,
exactly. So like that is right now heavily in Leverkusen's favor. I feel it really makes a difference. And again, they do have this weird dilemma कि किसको start करें up top, because Taremi is also doing well, El Kabi is also doing well. So at times what happens is they sacrifice that midfield muscle and they end up playing both. So I don't think that's a wise idea if they if against Leverkusen, because जैसे आपने बोला Alex Garcia के against आप ये sacrifices नहीं कर सकते. Even Ezequiel Palacios can at times prove to be dangerous. So it's a tricky one. Like again, जैसे you said, that first leg is key in this one more than the Dortmund Atalanta game. I feel the first leg in this match will be make or break more than the Dortmund.
Look, I mean, if Olympiacos are able to knock out a big win, then Leverkusen are not coming back for sure. That is for sure, because they have been struggling for goals. My only, I mean, the good spot for Leverkusen has been in Champions League. Tillman has done well in the Champions League games. So he kind of had shown up that PSV level game at Leverkusen. He has to turn up on that night if Leverkusen really wants to make a game out of it, because otherwise I am being very optimistic of their chances. And I saw RS Bro, he asked about Achiviri. Man, it didn't work out for him at Leverkusen basically. So he started few games, he was very off. You can say that is because of the squad issues which they were having, and then he started to get drop from the squad itself. So he was not making out to the starting 11 itself, and then Tillman, Schick, they were starting the games. and that is where City called him back, and then I think now he's at Girona, I believe, if I'm not wrong. So
And also, like one former Leverkusen player is there, like Restos, if you guys remember, the centre back, the Greek centre back. He plays for Olympiacos. So yeah, so
Right, right.
so that is where I am not very optimistic about the Leverkusen, how they have been doing, and but
Somehow I'm more confident about Leverkusen going through the next round rather than Dortmund.
fair. Yeah, honestly, both ties are like very unpredictable if you really think about it.
yeah,
And if you
no
as
one
a
is real
professional-
favorites there. No one.
yeah, exactly. It's about grab. Essentially, what happens in these games, आप moment लेते हो तो आप usually prevail करते हो, नहीं लेते हो तो टाटा बाय बाय हो जाता है.
Yeah, it's basically a typical Champions League knockout game. If you hit, you miss, I hit, and if you miss, and it's a vice
Yeah,
versa. So basically, you have hit when other team is missing. Otherwise, you are gonna go down. My honestly, my major concern is, like I have been repeating myself, the atmosphere of Olympiacos.
yeah, it's insane.
Because I mean, it will be a very wrong comparison, being very honest, but I am drawing the lines when they traveled to Bayern last season in the same playoff game. They could not stand against the atmosphere of Bayern Munich. I mean, our aura is
I know,
different.
I get what you mean.
Our aura is absolutely different than Olympiacos. But having said that, the sound, the noise which Olympiacos is gonna make in the stadium, it's
Yeah.
not gonna be any different than what Bayern Munich made. So that is where, if they are able to soak that early pressure from Olympiacos, then I think Leverkusen might knock off a draw, if not a win. And if they come with a draw back home, I think then they will have a fairly good chance. But the game, yep, I mean, I agree. Like the first leg will be make or break for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think prediction wise also, I think I'll go for a. Again, if you're doing the overall thing, I think first leg maybe you're right. I think Olympiacos might nick it. But overall, अगर आप मुझे पूछ रहे हो तो यार, I still feel it's very close. I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes to like extra time and all that stuff. This game has that more than, again, I get a way more tricky vibes from this match rather than Dortmund Atalanta. I don't know. I think maybe over two legs, I'll still go for Leverkusen, as Supro said. But मुझे ये नहीं लग रहा कि first leg तो tough होगा. Pratyush, I agree with you. Like that atmosphere, those Greek clubs, those Greek fans have been. Yeah.
I mean, that is where the Leverkusen side, they kind of fumble in that atmosphere. That's their characteristics from over the years. That is something, like even the Europa League final, same thing happened. They were not able to soak in the atmosphere, and that is where they were screwed up badly by Atlanta. So that has been their, whatever you want to say. I don't want to use any bad words, but yeah, that has been their pain point, and they have been struggling bad there. So Pro, what do you think? So Param thinks Leverkusen will go nick it off, just nick it
Yeah.
off. The whole aggregate.
I think 60-40 in favor of Leverkusen. I think Leverkusen, I mean, first leg will be tough, but I think they'll manage to comfortably over to when both legs are combined.
Okay. I mean, I'm torn apart in this game. I'm not too sure which team to pick up here, because it's a very close tie for me, to be honest. But again, I mean, being a German fan, I'll go for Leverkusen then. So,
Of course.
So
No,
yeah.
I think as RS said, they have enough to manage overall over the two legs. Maybe not first leg में नहीं है शायद. Across the two legs, I think they have enough to trouble Olympiacos as well. So yeah.
Yep. And now let's quickly, just for 10-15 minutes, let's quickly walk to the Bundesliga Matchday 22, because we didn't record it yesterday. So I thought let's do it now.
Sure.
So I mean, Dortmund, a comprehensive win, to be honest. I have not seen Dortmund playing like that for last 3-4 months. They were absolutely over Mainz, and Mainz were the informed team. They picked up 3 consecutive wins, I believe, and they picked up and they were that was a very comprehensive win. And if I were a Dortmund fan going into a Champions League game, I would have loved that kind of victory to boost the confidence of the team.
Yeah, I saw.
Sorry, go ahead, Supro. Yeah, in the league, like there are now last 5 matches they've won, so they're in a very good form right now. Like, and I mean, the fact that Bayern dropped points since the start of the year, I think, and they have been able to pick up points in the same period. I think that has also boosted internal morale, confidence, and things are working out for them right now in a very good fashion.
Yeah, and I caught this game, and Ryerson, I think, obviously was the star of the show. Like 4 assists
His
is,
crosses were beautiful, man.
yeah, what Opta reported, from what I remember, like since they've started collecting data, he's only the 4th player, I think, to have ever done this, 4 assists in one match. Like I think Ozil is one of the players, and I need to revisit who the other 2 players were. But like 4 assists here again, like it's insane. Like चाहे वो set pieces से हो चाहे normal, doesn't matter really. It's just insane to get 4 assists in one game.
It's a big thing. And the sad point is, Dortmund fans don't like him. They want him gone for some reason. I don't know what is their problem issues with him, but he has 11 assists in league. I mean, he has no goals. He plays a wing back. He might have got few, but then 11 assists as a wing back, that's an achievement.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot.
So we can relate here with DiMarco because he just bagged the hat-trick of assists, and even he has those numbers like 12-13 assists right now. And Ryerson, like honestly, this form he's hit, I didn't expect him to hit this level of form. If you ask me, I thought he'll be a good player, but not this form. Like it's
Yep.
as you said, ahead of the Champions League tie, it's a big boost. Like when certain other players don't perform well, like Brandt and all these guys, it's good to have a player who's just kind of exceeding those quality.
Compensating for that players who just walk around the pitch. To be honest, that's what I call Brandt. So I really don't like the attitude on the pitch, but it's a big win. And for a change, Dortmund are keeping up the pressure with us. And again, my same old point: those 6 draws, out of which 3 were their wins, this league title race would have been a lot more tighter for us. And
Yes.
then moving into the next game, Frankfurt versus Gladbach. I honestly didn't watch the game. I just watched a few highlights of it.
Yeah, only got highlights.
Frankfurt finally had a clean sheet, and they finally had a win.
New coach phenomenon. Anyways, like Albert Riera is apparently is one of those hyped coaches. So like whatever I've read from Twitter, like I've come across quite some interesting stuff. And like Frankfurt fans can be hopeful. The only miss is like they still don't have a defensive midfielder in their squad.
When I was on the show a few weeks ago, I said like when you have a player like Elias Khiri, it baffles me how many goals they concede, because I'm not saying one player can make so much of a difference, right? But he's actually a good player. Like how they've not managed to have defensive stability is beyond me. How you concede 6 goals, 4 goals randomly out of nowhere, it is baffling. And as you said, Albert Riera is actually a good coach. Like Frankfurt fans should be एक अच्छा coach आया है जो करेगा, time लगेगा. Again, it's not like it's going to happen in like 1-2 weeks or even a month, but he's a good coach. Like as you said, they need to just hang on to this guy, because it's not easy to get such good coaches when your form doesn't look great and whatnot. So yeah, kudos to them. As you said, yeah.
So that is I honestly feel sad for Gladbach are a bogey team, but their stature in German football is huge, man. I really feel bad for them. I'm being very honest.
Aren't they like only 3 points above relegation zone?
Yeah, they are in a big relegation fight now.
They were like quite volatile since the turn of the century itself overall. I think Max Eberl during his stay did phenomenal job, brought a lot of stability, and I think once again after he's gone, they've not finished in top 7, top 8, so non-European spots. Every time it's between like they're finishing in the latter half when they're not running for relegation, but like it's around 10-11 finish every season they're onward. So it's an unfortunate thing that's happening.
There's one season which they really performed well was when Plia and the other striker.
Dude, those seasons with
Yeah,
Plea,
Alisson,
Marcus
Plea, and
Thuram,
Marcus
Thuram,
Thuram.
Yep,
Jonas Hoffman, that trio was
That-
like we used to play them in the Champions League.
yep.
They knocked us out thanks to Antonio Conte, who just cannot do anything in the Champions League.
But I mean, that was couple of seasons which I remember, like over my head. That was few seasons which they were really good, and I really thought they would build from there.
Yeah.
And then Max Abel left, and
We
they,
discussed this, right, Pratyush? Like Wolfsburg and Gladbach is a big fall. Like Wolfsburg are even closer to the relegation zone. It's just insane how these two clubs have just dropped. Like, yeah, no words to describe.
I
this
generally
anymore.
feel bad for them. Honestly, generally feel bad
Yeah,
for them.
like you every weekend you see, अरे हाँ, Gladbach इसको खेल रहा है, Wolfsburg इसको खेल रहा है. You'll be like, if they lose, we are not surprised because there is nothing positive going on like off the pitch for these clubs. Like, it's unfortunate.
I mean, Wolfsburg with so much finances and backing, like they are like it's like very sad. Like it's.
I am very disappointed with these four clubs. I always name and kind of shame them being a German football fan. Wolfsburg, Stuttgart, Hoffenheim, and then Bayer Leverkusen. These four teams have the backing of MNCs, man. They actually can pour in
Yeah,
some money.
yeah, that's true. Hoffenheim has had the MNC backing for a long time as well.
I mean, how can, and then Mercedes is backing Stuttgart. I mean, man, you actually can do something with some money. At least put some money, play regular top football, and try to win some trophies. And then the whole issue of Bayern winning, Bayern. What would Bayern do? We cannot lose by ourselves, right? Our job
Yeah.
is to win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And that
I
was
expected him to intentionally lose. I mean, that's
exactly. And then the next game was Bremen versus Bayern Munich.
yeah. I saw this. I watched this.
So our first half was very nice. We did not let them create much, and they were not letting. So they also had a coach change last weekend. They sacked their coach, and they were again Bremen, again a historic club in German football, and they were also. But in second half, they really got me when they started to press so high. Goss hit one on the crossbar. Nima missing one chance. It really could have been 2-2 by 60 or 65th minute, and it really would have been a terrible game for us again. But sadly, they were not able
Yeah.
to.
Regardless of the result, it was a terrible game. Leon Goretzka played the entire match.
I mean, yeah, that is there. But even without Goretzka, that press issue which we are
like I know. I think all
The
of
point
us.
is like he's leaving the club in summer. Already
Yeah.
have someone like Tom
Right.
Bishop in your ranks. Why do you have to like? Anyways, Bishop is the better player. It's not like
Yeah.
he's lacking Bundesliga experience. He was a regular starter for Hoffenheim for quite seasons now. I mean,
I want you guys because I like Goretzka criticism because even I don't like the player because of his off the pitch antics and whatnot, and he's trash on the pitch. Like even I watch him. Like because I wanted to say this because RS, who's a Milan fan, he's linked heavily with AC Milan. For those that don't watch him, a lot of Milan fans that don't regularly watch him, they're very excited. Leon Goretzka coming from Bayern, they don't know what is awaiting them exactly. Like
you are getting a player who will jog on the pitch. When
yeah, obviously you don't blame the fans. जो नहीं देखता आप उसको expect नहीं कर सकते, right? आप उनको लगे अरे हाँ Bayern से
I
player
think
मिल रहा है.
these folks need to be out there on the Bayern group chat on a match day when Goretzka is playing.
It happens in my fan base also. I'm like the people who are like, oh, he's available on a free, bring him. I'm like, no, this is the free transfer you don't make. Like we are known to make great free transfers. This is like नहीं, मतलब उसके posters लगाने चाहिए. This man is banned from Giuseppe Meazza, all the training ground. आना ही नहीं है पास में कहीं. मतलब he's that bad. Like people don't know like how bad he is. Like, and I saw this game. Like he was terrible up until he scored the goal. Like he lost so many duels. I watched him. Like I watched the game.
I mean, the worst part is some of the fans on Twitter and everything, they were saying Goretzka yesterday, I mean, like on Saturday, he had a good game. And then I was like, the guy lost 4 duels out of the 6 duels he fought.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything
He lost, And he just looks so lost yesterday.
And then you are saying, I mean, कि मतलब अच्छा गेम है, ठीक, गोल किया भाई, that was a good finish, I agree, that was
Again,
but then
social media terms, is a back pass and side pass merchant. He'll never like make himself available to get the ball. बाकी तो डिफेंसिव पोजीशनिंग वगैरह वो तो छोड़ ही दो. हाँ,
Exactly, like what do you
absolute
guys?
eyesore. I can't stand him.
Yeah, exactly. He's not like, again, like, I've been watching him like as a neutral, as an outsider. You guys are the fans. You have to suffer him, like, obviously with him as being supporters of a club. But even as a neutral, he's a very frustrating player to watch. And obviously, I would only hope this player signs for like a rival club, like who's very desperate. That's all. I would never wish such a player signed for my club. That's all I can say. Like, kya hi bolu. And but Kane, again, I think the highlight. I think the story of the match will be Harry Kane only, right? 500 career goals. What do you say? Like, I think there's not, you can't, I think at this point you can't even say anything else to describe Kane's impact on for
man, he
Bayern.
was defending behind
Yeah.
our defense again.
Yeah, I know.
He's the best
And
defensive midfielder in the squad.
what I mean, I was joking in the summer, play him on number 8 or number 6, get someone like Sesko or someone as a striker, then you are winning a Champions League. I mean, that's how you used to joke around.
I think again, these kind of games are good for company, because obviously अभी भी वो एक level, I think Champions League में पहुंचना थोड़ा बाकी है. There is a bit of, obviously you guys have come a long way from last season. Like, again, I was not Pratyush knows this, I was not the biggest company fan, even when he was at Burnley, whatnot.
I think all three of us.
Yeah, his man management definitely works within that locker room, and I think one of the big talking point is the Neuer injury, right? Because he's going to be out for a while.
Calf injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope he retires now. I don't want to blot on his legacy, to be honest.
Yeah,
Because yesterday, day before yesterday, also he made a mistake. So those constant mistakes are coming up in his game, which would really hurt his legacy. And I really don't want someone like there was this talk going on Twitter. So to the interview to L'Equipe, he said that I hope people rate me as a good keeper. And if you see how the fans, first of all, I thought that's a fake post. I could not find it on the Mia interview which they posted. But then one of a guy in the group, he clarified, no, he really said that. And then when you go through the quotes which people have given him, the amount of fear, the respect he gets from the top clubs is immense. And I really do not want him to be playing with that legacy of his. That is something, that is why I keep on saying, man, please just retire. We love you. We really do not want you to, tarnish or even have a single bad spot on your legacy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, yeah, obviously, like, you have to let go at some point. Yeah, like Neuer ka, even as neutrals, I've seen so many people say, like, with the respect that is, when is he going to kind of, at least be a second choice, because we know he's never accepted that second choice role as well, and he's always been against that. But I guess
what we have seen him, doing, you do not see. I mean, he's a once in a generation player. You won't see someone coming like that so quickly, who would change the game, who would change the goalkeeping game. So that is where I really want him to retire by end of the season, retire on high. Urbik, I won't say he's a direct replacement, but that kid has been doing well. So let's give him some chances, and we'll see if we can build with him or not. And then moving quickly to the next game, Hoffenheim. So they literally fried Freiburg in the game.
We spoke about Fiznik Aslani, right? He scored again.
He scored again. Kramaric scored a Verdi. That could have been a Puskas goal, but then it was ruled offside. And then Kabak scored from a set piece. And then it was a very one-side game, to be honest. Freiburg were he hardly had one or two chances. It was all Hoffenheim, and the stats, the target, the duels, everything. They literally had 61% possession in the whole game overall. So Freiburg was not in the game. So it was all Hoffenheim. They came back well from the defeat versus us, and they grabbed important 3 points in the race for top 4. And then Hamburg, they got a crucial 3 points, which is just keeping them above that relegation fight zone.
Yes.
I mean, they defeated Union Berlin 3-2, and Vuskovic again a big performance.
Yeah, Vuskovic. Yeah.
I mean,
I actually caught the Hoffenheim game a bit. Then I had to resort to highlights and reading reports. But I just wanted to say, like, the Fiznik Aslanika, I think if I'm not wrong, now it's like 7 goals, 4 assists, something like that. And very, very good figures. Yeah, like, again, as you said, like, a club can Hoffenheim can actually do so much more on the market as well, right? Like, you can actually build a so much better squad, especially if they now get in the champion. Like, again, still a lot of time left. If they somehow make at least one European competition, that's again a very good squad to build on. It's not a bad squad. You have a veteran like Vladimir Sufal, जो लोगों को लग रहा था यहाँ Premier League में इसका हो गया तो मतलब career हो गया. But he's turning back the years. उसके 2 assists हैं. Like वो एक weird standard लोग रखते हैं ना कि यार ये Premier League में हो गया तो इसका career खत्म हो गया.
There have been so many Premier League players who have failed in Bundesliga.
Exactly, it happens. It happens the other way around. Like we've seen so many players that have come to our leagues and flopped rather from the Premier League.
That happens more.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. That happens much more. And Vladimir Sufal, matlab, bhai, he's putting in like proper leader like performances. Like, kal I think वही था ना उसका 2 assists if I'm not wrong, right? So again, yeah, fantastic. Like, and I think when they played you again, there was a bit of
it was a controversy. That red card was very 50-50 call, but they really gave us a big pain in that game.
Yeah, he's a very high energy Christian Ilzer, like बहुत proactive, high energy kind of personality also.
Yep, Kofol has 2 assists, so both were like from the crosses. One was from set piece from the corner, and the second one, Aslani was a cross. Over the top goal. So it was a very nice play by him, honestly. I mean, they have been doing really well, Hoffenheim, but again, I really hope if they can, build and they retain some player and then they build it from here and they can compete for the big league, like if they qualify for Champions League. So, but I do not see that happening, sadly.
Yeah.
That story, don't want to speak again.
Yeah, we have a very good question actually in the comments. There's a fun question.
Yeah, from Tour of Bundesliga, I think we would like Schalke back. That is
absolutely.
I think all 3 of us between Schalke and Dortmund in that rivalry away side, I've always liked Schalke more. Definitely one Schalke.
Schalke would definitely want, and then again, it's a tough pick. Again,
so मेरा second मैं points के हिसाब से जा रहा हूँ. I would definitely want to see Elversberg because it's quite a story there.
Yep.
अगर आप generally पूछो अगर points difference इतना नहीं होता तो मैं सीधा Kaiserslautern बोलता because I'm waiting for them to return. But obviously they're very behind in the race. वो होने नहीं वाला है.
वो तो बहुत बुरा है.
Yeah, exactly. That's why generally I said I would like to see them, but वो होने नहीं वाला. But
I would like Nuremberg as well because
that
would have a rivalry for us, another rivalry.
My pick. We can start picking and then probably we'll have half the table from the league as well.
But having said that, realistically, I would like Schalke, Elfsberg, and Hanover maybe.
Schalke, too long gone. They need to be back.
Too long, and I want to see this because I remember like their fans have lost hope essentially for years. I remember the infamous statement their fans made, it morally bankrupt club. Edin Dzeko is now there. He left Fiorentina, went there, scored 2 goals as well. So I want to see them back. Them and Elversberg, but again, as you said, Hanover has also not been there for a while, and Hanover is one of those.
They have our Loni as well, Noel Estlini, so he has been doing well for them in the midfield.
Yeah, and Hanover is very modern day. Hanover is very anti 50+1 rule, so I wouldn't mind them coming back and trying to do something trying to make waves कि हाँ भाई हमें 51 plus पसंद नहीं, हम लोग उसके against करेंगे, वो दिमाग में रख के खेलेंगे. So
that's
yeah,
one big point. And coming back to Bundesliga, the other big game which I watched was Stuttgart versus Cologne. So I mean, Cologne had so many chances to win the game, first to draw and then they win the game in second half. I didn't watch the first time fully, but in the second half, they were having waves after waves of attack, and Stuttgart was really back on the floor against them. And then Arce finally scored. The game became 1-1. But then Stuttgart again picked the press, and they pressed Cologne back, and couple of transition goals. That Onda finish was really good. He was falling behind with the right foot. He curled back in the far post of the corner. So that sealed the 3-1 victory. But I think Cologne would be sad that they did not, bought too much out of the game. They really could have won this game, to be honest. They would be sad with this game.
I mean, they're not like very comfortable right now. They're having 23 points and they're 12th, but like 19 points at 16th. So couple of bad weeks and they'll be in the relegation zone. So they have every reason to be sad.
Yep.
They should be sad rather. I mean,
it was a game which they could have won at least 1 point from the game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Being to be honest, that was that kind of game.
Absolutely.
And then Augsburg are again rivals. They got a 1-0 victory. I could not watch the game. It was Maurice penalty, which he scored, and Heidenheim. That was a game which they had to win, and they won, and they got those important 3 points, which puts them on 25 points. Again, that 9 to 16th is very crowded in Bundesliga right now. The difference is 6 points between those 7 teams. So that's where the real crowd is sitting, and you never know who is going to play for that relegation playoff zone spot. So, and then I watched Leipzig versus Wolfsburg.
Yeah, I watched this as well.
I mean, that was a game which again Wolfsburg should have won. Gabara made that. He was having a brilliant game, and then he hit his goal kick.
But don't you think Leipzig could have also won this, to be honest? Like,
I mean, the Gabara was keeping them out.
Yeah.
Gabara was keeping that. That's what I'm trying to say. The Gabara kept them out, and then he made that stupid mistake of hitting the goal kick straight to Gruda, and then Gruda laid off it to Hjulmand, which he scored. And then that Amora guy, man, he missed 6 chances versus Dortmund. Then he scores with Worldy versus Leipzig.
I have beef with Amora because of what he did at AFCON, man. Like, I still cannot get over it. Obviously, if you remember when Algeria knocked out DR Congo, he mocked the famous fan, obviously, who was dressed up as Patrice Lumumba, and he mocked him. Obviously, he mocked him. I'm like, bhai, wo ek alag political cause hai. Tum bina jane. Obviously, he didn't know. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he didn't know what he was doing. But still, I'm not letting it go. So I'm glad he missed so many chances. I'm like, okay, you suffer for a bit. Let him suffer for a bit on the pitch at least.
Yeah. So, but then Leipzig had a lead, 2-1 lead. But then Wolfsburg came back and they scored the 2-2. And then Leipzig again, they dropped crucial points in the race to the Champions League football.
Yes, absolutely.
One question for you guys: do you think Wolfsburg get relegated?
Again, it's very crowded. If you see the table, Param, I mean, I can bring it up.
I think they'll manage. Even like if they finish 16th, I mean they'll play the third in the second division. So in that fixture, again, that will be a 2-leg fixture, so over 2 legs. Given the kind of squad Wolfsburg are still having, they should be staying, and they'll likely end up staying. I don't think so they'll get relegated.
I said one thing wrong. I think it was Wolfsburg who got the lead back with Svenberg goal, and then Gruda scored a beautiful curler in the far post. It was again a ping ball situation in the final half. They were shooting like anything. The ball was bouncing back from Wolfsburg defense, and it fell right to Gruda's left foot from where he curled in, and he got that to draw. And after that again, they had a chance to win it, but they couldn't. And in that Bayern group, I wrote it. So this is a crucial 3 points dropped by Leipzig in context of the top 4 race, and crucial 3 points
Absolutely.
dropped by Wolfsburg in context of the relegation zone race. So that was a very consequential game for both. I mean, they could have liked the better result, and now they are 2 behind the Stuttgart in the top 5 race. So interesting to see how it pans out. But I think that's the topics which we want to cover. So thank you, Supro and Param, for joining the first live stream at the Total Fussball. We'll plan to do more live streams as the clutch season.
I would recommend you guys can start even with like German clubs ki games ka Champions League ka watch along, so that will get you a lot of audience as well. Once maybe like Bayern games, especially Bayern games, if you guys do, should get you a lot of traction that way. So Bayern, because people tune into a lot of Bayern games at least. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So thank you. So I'll end the stream now. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.